Howdy folks, and welcome back to my World of Tanks replays with our mighty jingles. Today we're in the garage with the T-29 American Tier 7 heavy tank. This is a very, very good tank. I don't know exactly what it is about it. There isn't any one particular thing about the T-29 that stands out, but there is nothing bad about it. There's a lot of tanks that you could say, well, yeah, it's got a great gun, but the armour's crap. Or you could say, well, yeah, it's got a great gun, the armour's alright, but by God, it's slow. There isn't a single feature of the T-29 that you could point to and say, yeah, that's a bit shit. Well, maybe the side and rear armour, but you could say that about most tanks. Generally speaking, this tank does everything either acceptably or very, very well indeed. So let's have a look at the stats and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Actually, before we look at the stats, have a look at my service record in this thing. Here's one of the reasons why I absolutely adore this tank. Let me just see if I can find it. There you go, T-29. I've had 95 battles in this tank. I really should play it more. And I only ever play public games in this, just random matches, and that's a 59% win rate. Substantially higher than, I mean, if you look at the average, okay, yeah, 63% of my Easy 8, fine. T54, 44, which is pretty crap. My Lorraine, I love my Lorraine, but my win rate in it's only 48%. It's got one of the highest of my win rates in this T29, and I'm kind of at a loss to explain why. There is no one particular reason. In 95 games, I've killed 127 enemy tanks. Obviously, I've won 59% of them, and I've survived 41% of them. That is unheard of for me. I'm normally dead by the end of most games, especially in my heavy tanks. Also, the hit ratio of 74%. When you see the accuracy of that gun, you'll wonder how that became possible. Average experience per battle in this tank, 851. That's not bad. So, how do I manage to get those kind of stats in this tank? Well, it has 1250 hit points, which is a good solid chunk of health. It's not the highest of the tier 7 heavies. That honour would go to the Tiger, which has 1450. But this has the second highest amount of health. So that's good. Good start. It's probably the biggest of the tier 7 heavies. Certainly I believe it's the heaviest, 65.1 tons. In fact, yeah, it is the heaviest. But it does have a very powerful 800 horsepower engine. And so, believe it or not, this thing is actually faster than the IS. 35 km/h speed limit, the IS tops out at 34. So not only is it bigger, but it's faster than the IS. Now, that's about the limit of its mobility success, however, because it doesn't turn too well. 25-degree traverse speed it's not bad for a heavy tank, but it is kind of slow. And that also extends to the turret traverse. 26-degree turret traverse is not bad, but compared to its peers, it's kind of slow. And of course, 380 meter view range, 745 meter signal range. Now the gun and the armour. Well, the T29 is if you don't count the Sherman Jumbo. In fact, yeah, let's not count the Sherman Jumbo. The T29 is the first American tank you're going to come across that has really, really good turret armour. The gun mantle is it's armoured like the vault of the Bank of England. That thing is 279mm thick at the front. It is just about impenetrable. There are tier 10 tank destroyers who can have a hard time getting through the front of the turret of this tank. I mean, even the gun in the game with the biggest penetration, which, unless I'm very much mistaken, is the gun on the T110E3, still isn't guaranteed to get through this gun mantle every time. 279mm thick. And the sides and rear of the turret aren't terribly armoured either. I mean, not as thick as at the front, but 127 at the side and 102 at the rear. It's got more armour at the rear of the turret than the Tiger has at the front of the hull. Just to put that one into perspective for you. So yeah, a very, very well armoured turret. Unless you guarantee you're going to penetrate the sides and rear of the turret, don't waste your time. fire at the sides and rear of the hull, because this is the only real weakness this tank has. The hull at the side is only 76mm thick, and it's as flat as a pancake. The hull at the rear is even worse, it's only 51mm thick. So that's where you shoot T-29s, never in the front of the turret, because just forget it. Now, speaking of weak spots, the ears, these rangefinders at either side of the back of the turret, they are no hitbox zones. Do not shoot at these turret ears. You will hit them, you will penetrate them, you won't do any damage at all to the tank. It's just a waste of ammunition. Don't shoot at them. A long time ago, you could. These were major weak spots of the T-29. Very long time ago, that got changed. Don't do it. Just going to waste your ammunition. Now, the commander's cupola at the back of the turret is a weak spot, but it ain't that easy to hit. It's situated right at the back of the turret. It's quite a tall tank, so it's quite high up off the ground. It's very rounded. Now, if you're trying to shoot up, if you're at close range and you're trying to hit that thing, there's a very good chance you're just going to bounce off because of the angles and the sloping involved. Your best bet, if you're at close range to a T-29, is to go around him, shoot him from the sides and the rear. Failing that, if you get very close, you can shoot down into the top of his hull, the top of the front of his hull rather. It's 102mm thick at the front, which, let's just bear this in mind, is actually 2mm thicker than the frontal hull armour of a Tiger. This is a very well armoured tank from the front. However, if you do manage to get close and you're shooting down at an angle because your gun is, up here and you're shooting down into the front of the hull, then you've basically completely flattened the angle at which this 102mm thick frontal hull armour is presented, and you will penetrate it every time. If a T-29 tries to face hug you, don't waste your time trying to shoot these commander's cupola unless you're in a big tank like a King Tiger. Instead, you want to be shooting here, or just shooting straight down under the gun mantle into this raised area of the front of the hull here. That's where you want to be shooting. From medium to long range, lower glacis, this hull at the front is very, very well sloped. That's something like a 60-degree slope there, and it is 102mm thick. I believe. Let me just check on the IS, but I think that... See, a lot of people have this weird notion that American heavy tanks have very, very, very thick frontal turret armour, which they do, but very, very weak hull armour. They don't. Let me just check the IS's hull armour. Okay, the IS at tier 7 has the most frontal hull armour with 120mm, but you know what? T-29 comes second. Now, as you go up the tiers, at least until you hit the M103, yeah, it's certainly true that the American heavies are easier to penetrate in the hull than they are in the front of the turret, but that's just because the fronts of the turrets are so ridiculously tough. The front of the hull of the T-29 is the second best armoured of any of the tier 7 heavies, and it's certainly got the best slope of any of the tier 7 heavies. So it's not a guaranteed penetration even from the front, especially if he starts angling it. Now, if you're shooting at him from the front, you can't hit his lower plate, or the angle's bad and you don't want to risk bouncing off his upper glacis, shoot him in the side. It's only 76mm thick, and if he angles that at an angle of more than 30 degrees, there's a good chance you're going to penetrate the side, even from that kind of angle. So that's what you want to be doing. Never ever try to take one of these things on from the front if he manages to go hull down. You'll just lose. Leave him for artillery. Move on. Find something else to shoot at. So that's the armour. But let's have a look at the guns. Now, this can be quite a nasty grind when you first unlock the T-29, unless you've previously gone down the American medium tank lines. And here's why. The stock gun is the M1A2, which is a great rapid-firing 76mm medium tank gun. This thing has no business being on a heavy tank. It's a great gun on the EZ8. It's not a bad gun on the M6, because it's tier 6 heavy. And it's a very, very good gun on the Sherman Jumbo. It's a lousy gun on the T-29. You can do better, and you will do better, because if you've gone down the American medium tank line, you should have already unlocked the 90mm M3, because you can get this on the T20 at tier 7, on the Pershing at tier 8, the Patton at tier 9. And, oh, what am I talking about? Okay, it's not often I'm right, but I'm wrong again. It's also available on the M6. Thank God for that. Right, let's just look back. Where are you? Where's the M6? There it is. There we go. Right. Unlock this thing on the M6. Please, please unlock the 90mm gun on the M6. Because one, it's a better gun than the 76mm, than either of the 76mm, and you don't want to be playing the T29 with that gun. This is still a medium tank gun, but it's a way better gun than the 76mm M1A2 on the T29. It's 14,000 XP. It means you have to extend the grind on the M6 a little bit longer, but you will be grateful for it. When you get to the T29, you do not want to be taking this into battle against tier 9 tanks with that 76mm gun. Just don't do it. And then you can use this to grind out the XP you need for the 105mm. And this is the sweet spot. This is the first of the American tanks that you unlock this gun on. You're stuck with this gun on the T32. You are stuck with this gun on the M103 until you can unlock the first of the two gun upgrades on the M103. And it's a great gun on the T29, but it ain't so good on a tier 9 heavy tank. However, T29, sweet spot. This is a fantastic gun for this tank. Let's have a look at the stats. 5.26 rounds per minute rate of fire, which ain't bad. It's faster firing than the long 88 on the Tiger. Actually, no, the long 88 on the Tiger fires slightly faster, but it's faster firing than the 122mm on the IS. With 198mm of penetration, again, pretty good. Way better than the penetration of the IS's gun. Not quite as good, but it's only 5mm less than the penetration on the Tiger's long 88. 320 damage, better than the Tiger, not as good as the IS's 122mm. 0.42 accuracy, not as good as the Tiger, way better than the accuracy of the Russian 122mm. But where it's got them all beat is the aiming time. 2.3 second aiming time it's not fast, but it's way faster than any of the other tier 7 heavy tanks on their top guns. So, you know, that's good news. And this gun is just, I don't know what it is about it. This gun on this tank, it just works so well. It's not a fantastic gun on the T32, the American tier 8 heavy, but it gets the job done. But here at tier 7, it's such a good gun. It does a good amount of damage. It's got really good penetration. The rate of fire is all right. The aiming time is all right. The only problem really is the accuracy, 0.42. You cannot aim for weak spots with a gun that has 0.42 accuracy. A lot of the time you're lucky just to hit the target. Unfortunately, you know, that is probably the gun's only real weakness. The accuracy isn't fantastic, but it's still better accuracy than any of the Russian guns. And none of the American tank guns are fantastically accurate until you start getting up to tier 8 and 9. So this relative inaccuracy is not going to be something you're not used to. And that pretty much kind of sums up the whole tank for me. There isn't really anything bad about it, other than the side and rear armour, but you can say that about most of the tanks in the game. And everything that the T29 does, it either does really, really well or acceptably. There isn't anything bad about the tank. Now, equipment. Well, generally speaking, unless a tank has a specific weakness, heavy tanks, you're going to want large caliber tank gun rammer, enhanced gun lane drive, and improved ventilation. Now, that's a substantial layout. It's well over 1 million credits for all that. And as you can see, I haven't been able to afford the enhanced gun lane drive. But if you have the money, if money is no object, that's what you want. Unless a tank has specific weakness, say for example a tank was known for getting ammo racked often, then you'd probably skip the ventilation and put a wet ammo rack on. But if a tank doesn't have any specific weaknesses, gun rammer, gun lane drive, improved vents. That's what you want to be going with. Now as for crew skills, what I've gone with here on my commander, I have recon. 380 meter view range is very good. But any extra advantage, basically I just want to be getting the first 1 or 2 shots off before they even know where I am. And the more view range you've got, the better you are. And it means you're not at the mercy of your scouts as much, because you can't always guarantee on getting people who know how to scout. in random games. Now, for the gunner, I've gone with Snapshot for extra accuracy during turret rotation, and that's purely because the gun is 0.42 accuracy, and it isn't great. You find yourself on corners exchanging fire with enemy tanks around the other side, like Tiger 2s, who you really need to be aiming for the weak spots when you pop around the corner. Trying to hit the Commander's cupola on the top of the turret, for example. And just Snapshot helps with that. It reduces the time that you're exposed waiting for your sights to settle down, and then reduces the chance that you're going to miss and you're going to have to pull back and do it all over again and continue to expose yourself. The driver, I have 100% repairs, and then I've gone for clutch braking, which has probably gone the other way around, but repairs on a heavy tank is never a bad idea. Clutch braking purely because of the 25-degree traverse speed, which is okay for a heavy tank, but is still not that good. My radio operator has, again, trying to extend the view range out as much as I can. He's got situational awareness. One of my loaders is 100%. Actually, he isn't. He's only at 99%. Repairs. And I always like, if you have the option to have a loader, and the T29 has two loaders, get safe stowage on one of them. It's a perk, it has to be at 100%, but you very, very, very rarely get ammo racked if one of your loaders has the safe stowage perk. And for his second skill, I've just gone with more repairs. Repairs never a bad idea on a heavy tank. So, how does this thing play? Good question. Glad you asked. So, first game is me, Hawk and Dan. Me and Hawk in our T29s, Dan in his Tiger P. Dan needed his daily double in his Tiger P, so we Tier 7 heavy tank platoon. Now, Himmelsdorf isn't a T29's natural environment. There's limited opportunities for covering up your lower hull, getting into those hull down positions. There are a couple of bombed out buildings where you can use the lower floor windows to mask your hull up, but this is a Tier 7 game, we are Tier 7 heavy tanks. So you kind of have a responsibility to the team to go certain places and do certain things on this sort of map. Parking yourself in a hull down camping position is not one of those things. So here we go. I know there's a Tiger at the end of this road, but I also know I've got two of the Tier 7 heavies who've got my back. Be careful I don't get flanking fire as I come around, but no, we've got guys going a suicidal artillery, Sturmhummel. But the flank is secure, at least until we get to this corner. I'd like to know where that bloody Tiger went. Oh, here we go. Okay, KV2 really should be looking the other way. There's a stock Tiger, if I'm not very much mistaken. See that bounce? He just actually bounced off our lower glacis, where our frontal armour is the weakest. Now what he should have shot at was my side here, where it's only 76mm thick, but instead he went for the best sloped and angled part of our entire hull. Oh well, never interrupt the enemy when they're making a mistake. Now how screwed do you think that guy is? Sitting in the middle of an open road with this lot pointing their guns at him. That's probably the only problem with the T29 is the inaccuracy of the gun. A lot of the time, I mean, the shot very, very rarely goes exactly where you aim it. It doesn't often miss by much, but it's just enough that it means you cannot reliably hit weak spots. And if there's only a bit of the tank poking out around cover, well, you usually can't just hit the tank. Oh, enemy T29. Okay, well, one of him, two of us. And there you go. Bouncy front armour. And this guy, okay, when we first came around that corner, he was angled well against me, and I should have tried to shoot him in the side, but I went for exactly the wrong spot. Of course, now what he's done is he's angled his armour against Hawk, which means it's going to be difficult for me to fail to penetrate. And there you go. Now, put it back again. You see where he hit me? Well, what the hell is going on? There we go. Actually, you can't see where he hit me. It went through the tracks and straight through the hull. Ruptured the gas tank, damaged the tracks, did 285 damage. So I am in exactly, well, not exactly the wrong position here. I should be flattening that angle out a little and not giving him so much of my side to shoot at. But at the moment he's pointing his gun at Hawk anyway, so I don't really care. More importantly, he's still giving me the front of his tank. And there we go. Yeah, he fired, and that one hit my gun mantle. I mean, seriously? Well, the chances are he was actually aiming for here. But the gun just missed. It does that. Anyway, now he's dead, and we're not. Now we've got bad guys coming down from the hill. We've pretty much lost the hill. And the T-29 is certainly fast enough to go back and deal with this kind of threat. That other T-29, basically his problem was he split his fire between myself and Hawk. He didn't concentrate fire on any one of us. And that's what killed him. So our base is being capped by a Hellcat, but Hellcats are easy to kill. Not too worried about that. So myself and Dan coming back to deal with the cap threat. Oh, they're all piling up the base now. It's not just the M18. Alright. So who are we going to kill first? Panzer IV. Will do. Hawk's capping. His engine was damaged, so he wasn't going to make it back. And yeah, there is no way we're losing this one now. And there you go. Hawk gets himself some capture points while we reset the cap back at our base. So, not too bad at all. 5 hits received, 3 of them bounced, or hit the tracks and did no damage. And of the 10 shots that we fired, 8 hit the target. Missed 2 shots, I think it was, that IS who's on the road up here, tucked in behind the wreckage. I just couldn't get a shot at him. It either went high or it went low and hit the rubble in front of him. But 3 kills, 3 damaged, 1150 XP. Not bad. And 34,000 credits. In an average to decent game, you will make money on this tank, even without a premium account. The only problem is the ammunition costs are quite expensive, I think. So just over 1,000 credits a shot. But you better start getting used to this once you get to tier 7 and higher, especially with the heavy tanks. That's just the way it is, I'm afraid. So next up we have random team, and it's an encounter battle on Ensk. Yeah, Ensk. Again, it's not a particular natural environment for the T-29. Limited opportunities for you to go hull down. But when you're the top tier heavy tank on the team, you have other responsibilities than, as in Himmelsdorf, you know, when you're the top tier heavy tank. I mean, it'd be ideal to be able to camp yourself in a bombed out lower floor of a building, sticking your gun mantle through a hole in the wall and taking pot shots at everything that tries to come down the road that you're guarding. But when you're the top tier heavy tank on your team, you have certain responsibilities, and it's just not practical to do that all the time. So here we are, doing the top tier heavy tank on the team's job, taking the fight to the enemy. Now, first thing we come across is a KV-1S, and it might just be tier 6, but you've got to respect the gun on the KV-1S. Here he comes.
Enemy armor is hit.
Now, I do a couple of not amazingly intelligent things in this match. Take damage that I really shouldn't have taken.
One of our tracks is damaged.
Now,
Enemy armor is destroyed.
148 damage there from that KV-1S. At least I think it was the KV-1S. But you would have expected him to hit me harder than that.
Penetration.
There you go. That is a KV-1S hit. Right through the front of the hull. 408 damage, that's more like it. I think it's possible that the KV-1S missed with his first shot, Maybe that T-34-85 hit me for the 148. That would be more likely, but we shall see. Anyway, I've set that KV-1S, hit him twice, set him on fire with my second shot. He's dead. Now this is a bit derpy of me. I only have 694 health left, and I basically sit here trading fire with the Jagdpanzer IV at close range. Now the Jagdpanzer IV doesn't do himself any favours, but there's no reason for me to take more than one hit from this guy, 2 at the most. Instead I end up taking 3. Luckily, he's a lousy shot. Watch this. So at least I wait until I reloaded before I poke out the first time. And my hull is at a pretty good angle. The chances are, I'm trying to get a good angle here for you, can't really do it. My hull is at a very good angle there. He can blow my tracks off all he likes. The advantage there is actually mine. At that sort of angle, I'm probably going to bounce most of his shots. But there's still no reason to sit here while I wait for a reload. I can pull back and keep the same angle just as easily.
We nailed it bad.
Okay, there, T-34-85 fires, and I don't know why these clowns keep shooting at the front of my turret, but they just do. So, you know, never interrupt the enemy when they're making a mistake.
Track hit.
Now, and yeah, that one went right through my tracks, penetrated the side. That was the Jagdpanzer IV, but he's not going to get another shot. Because the T-34-85 behind him is so eager to get a shot into my lower hull, he actually kills his own teammate from behind. And I swear,
We just dinged him.
is this guy using auto-aim or something? Because all he's doing is hitting the front of my turret. Or is he actually trying to aim at this flattened portion just above the gun mantle? Well, whatever happened, he just wasn't going through.
Penetration.
Let's see where that one hit. No idea. Haven't got a clue. Probably. Oh no, there you go. Just to the left of the gun. Slap bang middle of the gun mantle. You know, at this point, I'm wondering: is this guy using auto aim? It's like every shot he's fired has been right at the centre of mass of my tank. No, he's not using auto aim. Definitely saw his gun aiming, but that one just. There we see the ricochet mark right there. I don't know. Never interrupt the enemy when they're making a mistake. Thing is, I mean, it's a T-34-85. It's a fast medium tank. I'm in a T-29, which only turns at 25 degrees per second. I can think of ways for him to get out of that situation and possibly survive. I mean, none of them involves sitting sideways onto me in the middle of a railway track waiting for my gun to reload. Although I suppose it's possibly just given up at that stage. It's past caring. Who can say? But at the same time, I took a couple of hits there that I really shouldn't have. There's no real reason why you should sit in front. Even if you think you are well angled, sometimes shots are just going to go through. No reason why you should sit in front of an enemy tank destroyer waiting for your gun to reload when there is cover right next to you. You can pull back around. So yeah, remember kids, don't do as I do, do as I say. So that was a better game, despite some not particularly intelligent or tactical play from me in the middle. Taking unnecessary damage, there's really no need for it. But yeah, better game. 1350 XP and 35,000 credits. 4 damaging hits of the 9 hits we received, so we actually got 5 good bounces, which isn't bad. And this is where my accuracy rating comes in on this thing. 9 shots fired, 8 hit the target. Well, even with the most inaccurate gun in the world, if all your shots are at point blank range, it's difficult to miss. And yet somehow we still managed to miss a shot. And not a bad result. Some good kills, KV-1S, T-49, but they were all lower tier than us, which is always going to be the case if you're the top tier tank in the enemy team. But, you know, it is what it is. So, we can certainly squeeze in another replay. Let's see, what do we have? Okay, Fjords, top tier again. There's only 3 tier 7s, myself and IS, T-25AT. And with my turret armour, my speed and my gun depression, I know exactly where I'm going. I'm heading out for that corner on the left, and I'm going to either hold it or I'm going to push around it depending on what comes the other way and what kind of backup we get as well. So we know there's a medium heading down that way and a heavy. It looks like most of our guys are stopping in the middle of the road behind us here to exchange fire with them, just up there. Which, you know, random teams, what can you do? So we might have to hold this corner alone for a minute. No, we're getting some company. There is something, yeah, KV-1's coming up. So, what's waiting for us around this corner? The only artillery in play is tier 4. I'm not that worried about tier 4 artillery, and I'm not expecting much support from our own tier 4 artillery, so I'm going to go around the corner. Because the enemy team are actually stopping to fight on that corner. Okay, first it takes my tracks off. Come on, reload, reload. Oh yeah, right through your machine gun port. See, I'm debating at this point, do I kill the Sherman or finish off the target? Well, oh well, fine, yeah, if the target's going to come back around the corner, fine, we'll kill the target. And here comes the cavalry. So we got these guys from both sides now. Well, Tiger needs to die first. Sherman's an easy kill. Sherman's going to have problems penetrating me. There goes the Tiger. 361H. If I can kill the Sherman, I'll kill the Sherman. 361H will be a harder kill. There you go. Sherman is dead. Although I didn't get him. Now the 361H is a harder kill, but my gun is good enough to kill him. No problem. Tracks back up. Oh crap. Okay, we're going to need to push around here, and fast. Because they've defeated our guys in the town. We're actually losing 3-6. So we'll have to work on to turn this one around. I mean, we've done everything we can be expected to do here. It's just the rest of the team are crap. Although, let me say good. I honestly can't remember what happened in this game. Did we win? Did we lose? I'll be amazed if we won. No, we're pulling it back. We're pulling it. Well, wow. We were losing badly. We were losing very badly. Those guys up in A9 are fighting a hell of a defensive game on that corner. I wish I could have seen what was going on up there. But, whoa. Are we actually going to win this? We're still 2 tanks down, and they are capping. And he's going to do nothing but bounce off my turret sitting there. Come on, reload faster, kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him. Done. Let's go. Scores are even. There's more than one of them in the cap circle. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. That T-25AT up there has fought a blinder of a defensive game. Oh, he's up to 4 kills now. That IS up on the corner has fought a blinder of a defensive game. KV-1, all these guys that came around here with me didn't deserve to lose. Great game. We lost. The guys on our team that survived that match, we didn't deserve that loss. All you guys here who died, you suck. you deserved that result. But the survivors of the team, that was a real shame. Because we were kicking ass. All the guys on the top corner of the map up here, blinder of a defensive battle. The guys that came around here with me, we basically just killed everybody. Absolutely everybody we came across. But they just couldn't get back to the camp fast enough. So well played to the enemy team. And you know, it's one of those games. It was a tough win for them. Look at all they had left. ARL V39, 3.6 of 1H pounds of forward, and we were actually winning. What was the score at one point? 3-9. We came back from 3-9 down to go 11-9 up, and then lost to a cap. What a game! And those are the best ones. I didn't really begrudge losing that one because the enemy team, they did well to win. And we had a blinding game around the mountain here. We just weren't fast enough to get back and reset that cap. But that was a hell of a game. And for a loss, 826 experience and 31,000 credits. So, despite the result, good match. But I think I've got time to squeeze one more in. Let's have a look at another one. Okay, this time we're on Rubenberg. I'm teamed up with Newcoff and Fract. And Newcoff is in his T43. He's going to head for the crossroads in the village up at E0. And myself and Newcoff are going to go and hold the centre of town. It's an encounter battle on Rubenberg. Let's see how we do. Okay, now this was kind of unusual because the majority of their team came steaming across the middle of the map here, which was, I don't think I've ever really seen happen before. Keep an eye on the map, you'll see what I mean. And we've kind of split, and again this is unusual, 3 of our heavies have gone up into the crossroads with the mediums, and look at that, almost the entire enemy team. So I'm thinking, should we go back? But then I notice that the enemy heavies who were steaming down the middle have pulled a sharp right turn, and they're coming straight down the middle of the map into the centre of town by the flag. So actually, no, let's not go back. Let's stick to the original plan. And this is actually working in our favour, because the guys that have gone up the crossroads have caught all these fellas in the middle of the open field. It's T150 and KV3 up ahead. Okay, let's go around them. So I'm leaving these fellas and to keep them occupied on this corner. Myself and Newcoff, see what we can do, catch them in a bit of a pincer movement. Just making sure we're clear on the right. Where are they? There they are. Straighten the hull out. Don't want to make it too easy for them. Oh, come on, give me a shot. Okay, I'm going to have to get close. Keeping an eye on what's happening over to the right. Don't want to get caught in the crossfire. Oh yeah, give me your engine. Give me your engine. Come on, Newcoff, finish him off. Fract even, sorry. Newcoff's in the T43. T150, his ass is mine.
One of our tracks is damaged. Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Okay, let's even the odds up slightly. And now we have 2 KV1S's, a T25/2, and a 3002 DB. So it's got the tier 7s and 2 tier 6 heavies. And we've got myself, Fract, and a Jagdpanzer to deal with them. So Fract is saying, I'll hold this corner. Oh, he's on fire. I love setting tanks on fire. So Fract is saying to me, look, I'll hold the corner, go around behind them. Okay, let's do that. And look what's coming from the Crossroads village, the rest of the team. So these guys are screwed on this corner now. Fract's holding the corner, and we're all coming around behind them. And Fract holds that corner like a boss. T25/2, most dangerous target there. So, oh, big old hit from the KV-1S. Yeah, you're not going to make it away in time, mate.
We finished him off.
IS is running for his life, abandoning the 3002 DB.
Penetration.
So I'm going to make sure that IS doesn't have a shot at me, and this is unbelievable. What's this?
It bounced off.
Well, it's not unbelievable. The DB has good frontal armour,
Mobilized.
and he angled it just as I fired, so it's actually very believable.
Enemy armor is damaged.
But it isn't good enough to save him every time. Oh, there we go. KV-1S finishes him off. And now that IS is the only remaining tank on the enemy team. Am I going to get a shot at him? Yeah.
We nailed it bad.
And Nukov finishes him off, so he gets a kill too. Great game. Really, really good game. I liked the way the tactics kind of evolved dynamically throughout the course of that one. The way the threat never really appeared to be coming from where we thought it was coming, but the team sort of just reacted to it. Doesn't happen often in a random game. We thought they were all charging through the Crossroads village, but then half of them went for the village, the other half turned and headed straight into town. And the whole outflanking, and it was just a good game. It was a great game. Getting around behind them, leaving somebody on the corner to keep them occupied, sneaking around the back, putting shots into them from behind. It's just a great match. Really, really good result. XP-wise, didn't actually do as well as in previous games. But again, we're top tier. We're beating up lots of tanks that are lower tier than us. So it was a special event weekend. I can't remember what for. Ural Steel or something like that. I don't know. ×3 experience. And actually, no, that was a very good result. What am I talking about? That was about 1500. Not bad. How about it for Battle Heroes? Oh, we got a sniper out of it. Again, yeah, 11 shots fired, 11 hit the target. Point blank range shots. Even if they don't penetrate, you're still going to get a sniper award. Took 6 hits, 2 bounces. Where did they bounce? Who can say? T29. What a tank. I just... There isn't a thing that it does badly, except for the side and rear armour, which is a significant weakness. But most of the tanks in the game, you can say that about. I just do consistently well in this machine. The front of the gun, the front of the turret is just incredible. That is the best heavy tank gun you're going to get on an American heavy tank until you unlock the last gun on the M103. It is just exceptional to average in every department. There is nothing bad about the tank. And it does very, 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 very well. Even in Tier 9 games, it's not too bad driving this tank around because you've still got that monstrously thick turret armour. And if you're driving this thing in a Tier 9 game, you're not the top tier heavy on the team. You don't have to worry about taking the responsibility for leading the attack and, you know, tanking the enemy damage. You can pretty much... You have the freedom to go where you want and look for those hold down opportunities and give support and fire from a position of relative immunity. And even in a Tier 9 match, people are going to have a real hard time getting through that gun manual. So this tank can perform in every game it gets thrown into. The IS, by contrast, has real problems in a Tier 9 game because its gun, the turret isn't good enough for it to go hull down. The gun isn't accurate enough for it to snipe like the Tiger can. And in order to put that gun of its that it has to use, it has to get up close and personal. And an IS getting up close and personal with E75s and IS8s in a Tier 9 game is going to be a dead IS very, very soon. T29, no such problems. Get yourself in a high tier game, find a place where you can get hull down, give support and fire from a position of relative immunity. Tier 7 game, just you know, you saw how it does in a Tier 7 game. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for the enemy team. Great tank, and one of my all-time favourites. I have a lot of all-time favourites, but this is one tank I'm never selling. I couldn't ever, I don't care. I wouldn't even sell this to buy the IS-7. It's just too good a tank, and my stats on this tank bear that out. Particularly my survival rate of 41%, which is unheard of. I think my global survival rate it's more than double my global survival rate in all tanks. This is just such a good tank to play. So that was the T29 American Tier 7 heavy tank. I certainly hope you enjoyed the review and had fun watching the replays. Take care on the battlefield, and I'll catch you next time.